Dag bezoekers van triathlon.be. Ik ga straks overschakelen naar Engels, want voor ons niemand minder dan Jan Frodeno. Welcome Jan. Let's say welcome in the triathlon.be plane. I will call it now our plane. How does it feel for you to have an interview in such a in a plane?
Yeah, I mean it's a unique setting. Huh? You look out over the clouds. It's pretty special. I have to say it's one of the dreams, you know, and ridiculous to think that triathlon is what makes this possible. It's one of those things like even I love the basic life, you know. I go out in the forest and it's the purest moments where I go, but this is pretty special and I have to say it's certainly pretty cool.
Yeah, because we have to say you are a world star, but this is not such thing usual for you that you go by a private plane to Belgium to have a chat with the people then.
Well, you know, it's funny because the way the outside sees me is very different to the way I see myself. You know, I'm a normal family guy. I love what I do, and I think I'm pretty approachable. You know, in terms of like, you know, the stardom or anything like that. I'm like, triathlon is such a unique sport in the sense that we are really connected to the amateur athlete all the time, and so I think there is a lot less stardom and star allures and all these kind of things, and then. There are still some pretty amazing opportunities that come with it, and yeah, this is one of them.
You said it already, triathlon is something unique. How does it feel to, I will say it again, be a world star? You are well known, you are Olympic champion, you are world champion at the Ironman distance 70.3. But next to that, a lot of people knows you, but the next life is also that you have to train a lot, let's say alone, you have to be on your own as an athlete. How does that feel, the difference that you arrive in the middle of the crowd where everybody's shouting for you and then just turn back into the quietness and then train on your own?
Yeah, it's my favorite part about it all, because I've tried a few times where you know, I did a lot of media requests and a lot of things, and going to a place like Roth, for instance, just to watch, and that was pretty crazy. Like, that was for me like where I found my own limits. I always have a personal limit where I enjoy it, and I really enjoy talking to people and doing all these kind of things. But then I really love the calm. You know, it's what I live for, and I'm grateful for the moments where it's busy, where it's crazy, where, you know, it's ridiculous where the sport has come. But in the end, my life and my dream is out. You know, when about 1,100 kilometers of swimming and about 20,000 Ks on the bike, and maybe 4,000 to 4,500 Ks running a year. That's where the majority of my life is, and I do that by myself or with my training partner. And I must say I really love the balance and wouldn't want to have it any other way. You know, I think I would miss the busyness if it wasn't there, but also I would never want to be without the solitude.
Jan, if I have to talk about triathlon to people who know the sport, that they say, okay, it's swimming, it's biking, it's cycling, then you also have to explain, okay, you have two big sorts of triathlon. Let's say you have the Olympic distance. For those, the Olympic gold medal is the highest way to reach, and I have to say there are long distance triathletes. Then you have the one big game that is Hawaii. You did it both. I will not say to you what is the most beautiful, because you cannot say. I think they were all beautiful. But what is the impact? Was there a difference of an impact of being a gold medalist and being a Hawaii winner?
Well, I think, you know, the impact is substantially different, because the Olympics, you go to the Olympics as a team. I went as Team Germany, you go as Team Belgium, you go as Team Spain, whatever. So there are a lot of gold medal winners, especially from Germany. I think in 2008 we were 15 or 16, and it's really unique because it put me on the map, because I came from zero. It was the first international race I ever won, and all of a sudden, in the media, here, there, everywhere, everybody's tapping you on the shoulder saying, hey, you're so great, this, that. And my next big success was 7 years later, you know, like big in terms of Hawaii. And I learned a lot in that time also, so I could probably enjoy it more, but also sit back more and be like, you know, not everybody who taps you on the back and says, hey man, you're cool, is your friend. You know, there's a lot of talk out there. I have to say, within the sport, Hawaii is the Wimbledon, you know. A lot of people live for Hawaii, and even if you don't know triathlon, you may know about Hawaii. Of course, everybody's heard about the Olympics, but the attention is very much shared between all sports. You know, who watches judo? You know, who watches weightlifting on TV other than the Olympics? And it's a little bit like in the Olympic distance with triathlon, it's the same thing. You know, people watch it during the Olympics because it's an Olympic event. And I have to say, I was really surprised. 2015, the impact as such was probably bigger still. So that was definitely unique.
Another man who now get the impact of Hawaii is our national hero for now, is Bart Arnouds. How did you feel about his second place? Okay, the first thing, it was sad you weren't there, but then you watched at the sideline. Did you expect it, Bart, on the second place?
No, I would lie if I said I had Bart on my list. You know, Bart, I've known him for many years. He's a very quiet and reserved guy, but we're always, you know, exchanging a friendly greeting and seeing each other. But to say that I would have thought he would make the podium would be a lie. You know, he's good, but he's he's just not somebody that you would expect or that you would be like, okay, he's gonna go and do it. So that makes it even cooler because Hawaii lets the underdog shine. You know, there's always somebody who's the surprise guy. And, you know, that being said, I was really happy for him because obviously after Fred, you know, Belgium, I feel, is a big endurance country. You know, cyclocross is super famous in Belgium and only in Belgium, really. But you've had great duathletes over the year. You've had great Ironman success. And it's really always cool because I feel like the smaller countries, the vibe just carries so much more. People get inspired to go and take up the sport, and that's hopefully something that Bart will do in Belgium. And I was very happy to see him do well.
Let's think about the future because we are very proud that Belgium is next to Germany, the only country then America and Australia, but the only two Europeans who won in Hawaii were Belgians and Germans. Then we are thinking about the future. And then we have one name, Pieter Hemerik, who was now 5th in South Africa. We are very proud of him, also me as a friend, but were you surprised then also about Pieter that he was 1st in your group and that he make it through the finish line as 5th?
Yeah, I mean, he had a phenomenal day, and I have to be very honest that the first time I saw Pieter on that day was at the press conference after the race. You know, he was the only guy who made it into the group, who wasn't in it initially. You know, I think there were 10 guys and it slowly fell apart, but Pieter made it on and was the only guy to do so. So that was certainly, I think, a really good performance on his hand. You have to say that, it was maybe one of the more competitive 70.3s ever, if not, you know, if maybe not the most. And to come 5th and beat quite a few of the people who were tipped to be in front of him, it's always cool because who doesn't like the underdog, you know? It's great to see that kind of thing. And I think with his kind of cycling performance, he can have better races still and improve more. So, you know, all the best with that.
Then 2 other names for having the Belgians then. Do you still follow the Olympic distance? Because now in Belgium it's also getting back case. We have Jelle Geens and Martin van Riel who do very good. We are almost certain that they will qualify. We don't have to put any questions about it. What do you think of them? First, the Olympics, but also for the future.
Yeah, you know, I've met Martin quite a few years ago, and it's always the Olympics is something that motivates people beyond like natural ways. You know, there's so much history there. It's such a special event, and that's where I really think, in terms of future, if they can get the mental aspect right and really believe and not be like, okay, well, you know, so the Olympics, Brownlees are going to win. It really takes somebody who's so much of an underdog that they're like, you know what, I don't care. I'm going to go and dedicate my life to this. And I think they can be that generation that comes in and really steps things up. I think, like we talked about, Belgium has a really rich history in terms of the sport, especially for such a small country. And if they really start to believe things, then the future can be theirs.
What if triathlon was not a sport that has been invented, or that you may not never do triathlon, that it doesn't exist? What would Jan Frodeno do then if he wasn't be a triathlete?
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody asked me what if I could swap with one athlete for a day. I think I would. I was always fascinated by the NBA. You know, I played a lot of beach volleyball as a kid, but I never had any talent, so that kind of didn't eventuate. But yeah, the NBA always has fascinated me more. I don't even play basketball, but yeah, I think the athleticism that they have, the speed, the agility, the mental pressure, it's something that really interests me a lot.
Okay, I said to myself I would do 10 minutes. We are having 10 minutes now. Nice to have this chat with you here with Jan Frodeno, and I hope that you will love the visit in Belgium. Jan Frodeno.